Congratulations on purchasing your Rambo bike. This video will show you how to properly install your extra large rear rack and your brake light to your Rambo bike. Start by removing the top two bolts on the back of the rear frame with a 5mm Allen wrench and the bottom two bolts with a 4mm Allen wrench. Then slide the rear rack into place behind the tire as shown, and then reattaching the two bolts at the bottom of the frame. The rear rack comes included with two sets of attachable arms. Be sure to use the two shorter arms for attaching the rear rack to the frame. You can now attach both the arms to the top of the rear rack with the provided M6 by 20mm bolts and washers, and tighten them all the way down with a 5mm Allen wrench and a 10mm open-ended wrench. Then rotate the rear rack forward in place and reattach the bolts that you removed earlier from the top of the frame. You can then tighten them down with a 5mm Allen wrench. Once attached, you'll want to make sure that the rear rack is horizontally straight and level with the rest of the bike. If it appears too far forward or too far back, you may need to remove the bolts and reposition the arms on the front of the rack. Next, we will attach the brake light to the taillight bracket. To do so, remove the nuts and washers from behind the brake light and insert the brake light into the taillight bracket. You can then reattach the washers and nuts and tighten them down with an 8mm open-ended wrench. The taillight should look like so when finished. Now you can attach the brake light to the rear rack. You can do so using the provided M6 by 12mm bolt and washer. You can tighten it all the way down with a 5mm Allen wrench and a 10mm open-ended wrench. Next, you'll need to connect the brake light cord. To do so, you'll need to remove the lower cover plate by undoing all the bolts with a screwdriver. Once you have the cover plate removed, you can take out and unravel the red brake light cord. Then you'll want to run the cord up to the brake light. An easy tip is to follow the existing cords underneath the frame that go towards the rear brakes. From there, following it up to the brake light, still keeping the cord behind the frame and rear rack. You can then connect the two cords by aligning the arrows and then pushing them together. Once connected, you can start adding zip ties down the rear rack and the frame. Leaving a little slack, the first zip tie should be applied to the top of the rear rack on the left. Once tightened, you can cut off the excess zip tie. Continue adding zip ties down the rear rack and the frame as shown, until the cord feels good and secure to your Rambo bike. The final step is to pull in any excess cord into the bottom of the frame, and then reattaching the bolts and cover plate. You can then tighten them all down with a screwdriver. You have now successfully installed your rear rack and brake light. Before you head out, we highly encourage you to watch our quick before you ride video. This will help show you how to properly set up and operate your bike before your first ride. Congratulations again on purchasing your Rambo bike.